wanted so desperately to prove everyone wrong, to prove that I was a good mom, to prove that I was a good spouse. So I worked hard to portray this image for the sole purpose of being liked.
Hey guys, we're on the way to the gender reveal appointment, and as you guys know, my boyfriend lives in Dallas and I live in Florida, so we really wanted to find out the gender together. So what we're gonna do is have my parents poke a hole in one of a pink balloon or a blue balloon, and whatever one doesn't have a hole in it, that's the gender. So I'm gonna put that in my suitcase, and then when I get to Dallas tomorrow, I'm leaving tomorrow, I'm gonna inflate the balloons, and whichever one blows up, we're gonna find out the gender. Exactly 2 weeks ago, on February 12th, I had a 33-week appointment, just a normal checkup, and I went into early labor and had her an emergency C-section at 33 weeks pregnant. Cameron Turner. Ever since I saw you for the first time back when I was in 8th grade, I thought you were the most drop-dead gorgeous girl ever. I never would have thought in a million years we would be here today, happy, healthy, and full of love. You bring such brightness to my day every day. Waking up next to you is the one thing I could do for the rest of my life. You're my soulmate and my best friend. We have always been there for each other through the ups and downs, and stick close no matter what situation we face, and you are my one and only true love. I can't wait to see what the rest of our lives have planned for us and where we head in the future.
Hi guys, I'm in labor. Welcome back, Kimberly. Almost forgot to say that. We're going to the hospital right now. I am 39 weeks and a few days, and oh my gosh, I'll explain more. I'll explain more when we get there, but we are headed to the hospital. It smells very good though. I'm excited. I guess I'll just start by talking about how I got into becoming a family vlogger and how I kind of got put in that box in the first place. In 2017, I was pregnant with my first daughter, and I was obviously very scared. And I didn't know what to expect of like just being a teen mom. So I turned where every teen turns to, YouTube, and I saw lots of story times of how people got pregnant at a young age and how they told their parents, and there's just a lot of people like sitting down and talking about it. And it helped me a lot to just kind of mentally prepare for it all. So here I am, pregnant and bored. I'm doing online school. I just moved to a new place and I had no friends. And one day I just decided that I would make a YouTube channel. It's not the first YouTube channel that I made. I have like 2 or 3 out there from before I even got pregnant. One being from when I was like 9. And then I had a few videos on another channel from when I was like 15 of just me like being dumb. But I decided that I would start making videos about me being a pregnant teenager. Mostly because I was bored, but also because I thought it might help other people in that situation too, as it helped me. I very first got pregnant. So I started when I was like about halfway done with my pregnancy. And at that point, me and Landon were doing long distance. He wasn't in the picture. We were still together, but he wasn't in the videos. And obviously Colette wasn't born yet, so it was just me and my camera. But my channel was still very much centered around pregnancy and motherhood and little to do with me and who I actually am as a person. And honestly, becoming pregnant in the first place before even starting YouTube, it took over a lot of just my personality. It just kind of became who I was like this pregnant girl, and I didn't really feel like I had much of a self-identity outside of that. So I post a few videos, they get like maybe 100 views, along with a lot of hate comments from people that I went to high school with. And then Colette was born and she ended up being in the NICU for a while, and while I was in the NICU, that's actually when my first video blew up. No one even knew that I had my daughter yet. I had her early. But yeah, right after she was born, a video titled Day in the Life of a Pregnant Teen just started to get views. And I remember hitting like 1,000 subscribers and being like, oh my gosh, this is insane. Like, I can't even believe this. I did not think this would happen. And it just kept growing and it didn't stop. A few weeks after she was born, we got settled in back home and I posted a video just introducing her. And that's definitely when I started to take things more seriously. Not in an aspect of like trying to make money off of it. I mean, I knew that that potentially could happen, but just knowing that there's people watching, I tried to put more effort into it, up the quality a bit. I got a camera, I got a laptop, because before I was just doing it on my phone. So I did that for a while and I was really into it. I felt very inspired. I loved making videos. I was just having the best time and I loved like engaging with everybody in the comments. There was a lot of hate, which at first I was like really upset by. And then once Landon moved in with my mom, Colette was about 3 months old, the dynamic of the channel just kind of naturally changed. It was no longer just my channel about me and my baby. There was 3 of us now, and it definitely started to become more of what people deem to be a family channel. And even though Colette was a very tiny baby at that point, the content started to slowly shift from just me talking about motherhood more to me showing Colette and talking about her and her growth and just going out and doing things as a family with her, and also about me and Landon and our relationship. Soon after, we did start making money off of YouTube and we moved out into our own place, and that definitely upped the pressure of like, this isn't just for fun anymore. You know, this is my job and I need to post these videos in order to pay rent. Because before I didn't have rent, I didn't have bills. I was living under my parents' roof still. The only thing I had to worry about was buying diapers and formula, which Landon had a job before coming, so we had some money saved. That's the point where the negative comments kind of started to shift from just blatant, like, ignorant negativity towards a teen mother just because she's a teen mother, and more to people, like, getting really invested in, like, picking apart my life and my mistakes. And I feel like there's a huge difference between the two, between someone just making an ignorant hate comment, like, oh, I bet your parents pay for that child, because I know that they don't, so it's like, okay, whatever, you're wrong, versus people making an informed hate comment about my life, picking apart the dynamic between me and Landon. Picking apart the way I talk about motherhood and just trying to frame me as a bad mom and a bad person and really just attacking my character. And at the time, I was still really new to it, and I just really started to internalize it, and it started to change the way that I made content. Before, I was just showing our lives and who we are, and it was more genuine. And then over time, I started to really think about, what are people gonna think about this? What are people gonna say about this? And there's certain things when filming where it's like, oh, can't put that in the video. Stupid little things. That people have no good reason to pick apart, but they will. And I just wanted so desperately to prove everyone wrong, to prove that I was a good mom, to prove that I was a good spouse. So I worked hard to portray this image for the sole purpose of being liked. And when I look back, I'm like, I was a 17-year-old mom with a lot of pressure put on me to provide, to post on time, to share so much with the world, to figure out this new dynamic of we're both parents. How do we parent together? How do we live together? It was my first time living on my own. And there was just so much on my plate at once, especially for a 17-year-old. And I'm like, of course I wasn't perfect. If you put any 17-year-old in that position, they will not handle it perfectly. They're gonna make mistakes. And deep down, like, I knew that. I knew I wasn't perfect. I knew I wasn't a perfect parent. But I felt like as long as I was perceived that way, as long as I was projecting an image of perfection, that was good enough for me to feel all right. Enough to get that external validation of people telling me I'm doing a good job. So to have more of that and less of the hate comments, at the time I was okay to sacrifice my authenticity for that. But the more I perpetuated this image of we're a happy, functioning family, we're the teen parents who are doing it right, the further I projected that when that just simply wasn't the truth, I didn't know what I was doing, the more people started to kind of point it out. Something feels off. You don't really feel as genuine anymore. And it was a slow, progressive thing, and people started to point it out more and more as time went on. But it was hard because other people were like praising this version of myself that I was portraying. A lot of people didn't notice, and they just thought that that was me, and that was genuine. So while I'm out here filming this happy family content, behind the scenes, things are just getting worse and worse. My mental health is in a horrible place. I've lost who I really am in trying to be perfect. Landon's mental health isn't doing great either. I was a lot better at hiding it and picking up the camera even when we were upset, even when we were fighting. And looking back, I don't regret much in life, and I try not to dwell on it because I've forgiven my past self for the way that I was. Everything I was doing was in this deep-rooted insecurity of just wanting to be loved and accepted. And I think the more my life went downhill, the more I threw myself into YouTube. It was how I was coping. It's almost as if I wanted to live in that fantasy of we're just this normal, happy, perfect family. And I posted 3 videos a week. So that's 3 days out of the week, going out, filming, picking every little detail of the video apart, trying to make everything perfect, staging everything perfectly, moving all my stuff under my bed so it was out of the shot. I just felt like I was always running around, like perfecting every detail. And then I spent every other day after filming replaying the same day over again, editing it, making sure it's as perfect as it can be, it's all polished and nice, picking the perfect thumbnail, picking the perfect title, and posting it, and then spending hours reading the comments, seeking approval, and almost even seeking negativity. Like if there was a negative comment, I had to see it. One day I found this gossip website where the whole thing is just talking about YouTube moms. Turns out there's like a whole community on the internet for that. And it was absolutely brutal. And it hurt the most when they were kind of right, when they were kind of spot on. These people were really good at like reading between the lines. Most of the people saw what I posted and were just like, oh, good video, very happy, fun, I love it. And other people kind of started to see where I cut specific clips, where it seems like I cut certain things out, and really just pick me apart. I've never read anything more horrible, honestly. And I was like addicted to reading this. So that cycle of running around, trying to make everything perfect, spending the next day reliving my previous day, editing it, posting it, seeking approval, seeing the hate, checking this gossip site a million times a day, I drove myself freaking crazy. It was so unhealthy for me. There came a point where I realized these things probably right around the time I got pregnant with Delilah, and I tried to make a change and change my content and be more authentic, try to kind of revert back to how it was when I first started, but I just couldn't break out of what I had already created for myself. I felt trapped in this box of this is how everyone thinks I am, so this is how I have to be. And also, I just didn't have a self-identity anymore. Outside of acting happy on camera and being miserable reading comments, I had no idea who I was anymore. So how can I show my authentic self when I've just completely lost that? And it took losing Landon for me to finally snap out of it. And it's really messed up that that's what it took. And as I grew out of that, I also grew out of some friendships with people who were still just kind of in that. Maybe not to the same extent that I was in it. I'm very grateful to have had such a wake-up call. I don't even want to get into the psychology of how that would have affected my daughters had I not made a change. Because at this point, my channel is about me, and I am my truest self on here. It's taken time to get to that, but I finally feel like I'm there. And the kids are not at the center of my channel at all anymore. It's no longer about showing their lives or even our life as a family. It's about showing my life. I definitely want to keep the girls away from social media as they grow up, especially being what my presence and their presence already is on the internet. I'm not sure what it will be by the time they're older, but as a parent, that's something that I do not want for them to even feel a fraction of that pressure that I felt to portray themselves a certain way on the internet. It's going to be a very, very, very long time before I allow them access to any social media. I don't want to sit here and say that my experience with family vlogging is a universal experience and that every other family channel is actually super fake, but I gotta say that just that dynamic of having social media be your job, having your kids so involved in that, having your marriage, your relationship so involved in that, and just having your whole life intertwined with the way that you make money, the way you feed your kids, along with having the whole internet critique the way that you live your life, it is just not good for anyone. It's simply not healthy for your mental state. It's really difficult. And everyone says, oh, well, you do it to yourself. But if I can go back, I don't know that I would have chosen the same path. I don't know if I would have made my YouTube channel. Now that I'm finally at a place where I figured out how to do it in a healthy way and to kind of separate myself from the opinions of people on the internet, I've come to a point where I can handle it. But especially someone who has always had mental health problems, I can't think of a worse scenario for me to end up in. As hard as it is, it feels good to own up to it and to say it out loud. And it's hard not to look back on that time with a sense of just shame, because it didn't need to be that way. I had to learn that lesson for myself, but looking back, I know that it did not have to be that way. And it makes it hard now to look back on my old videos, because what everyone else sees is just us being happy, and it's great to see Landon alive and smiling, but all I see is the behind the scenes, everything that wasn't showed on camera, everything it took to get that shot, the fight that we had that morning, you know? It just sucks. It really does. But for my daughter's sake, part of me is glad that we only showed the best parts, because now that's what they get to see of their father. Because what's the alternative? Showing us fighting? Showing the bad parts? I don't know. It's a very complicated issue, and I don't have the answers. All I know is that at this point, after having gone through all that, I feel like I have no choice but to be as genuine and authentic as possible. And that means posting less, but also only filming when I actually want to film, and being passionate about it again and putting my heart and soul into it again, and not looking into every single comment and taking it personally. It's sad to look back on all that, but I have come a really long way, and I'm really happy that I finally figured it out for myself, and I can exist on the internet in a way that's healthy for me and the girls.